hereby call to order the Board of Directors meetings of New Jersey Transit Corporation, New Jersey Transit Rail Operations, Inc., New Jersey Transit Bus Operations, Inc., New Jersey Transit Mercer, Inc., and New Jersey Transit Morris, Inc.
Good evening. Please mute your phones and turn your attention to the public safety announcement.
At New Jersey Transit, your safety is our highest priority. Please listen to these safety instructions in case of an emergency. In an emergency, announcements will be made over the loudspeaker or by a uniformed police officer. The primary exit for this location is the stairwell adjacent to the elevators, which can be located by exiting the boardroom and proceeding through the glass doors. There is a second alternate staircase that can be accessed through the door at the front of this room to the right behind the board dais. New Jersey Transit Police will administer CPR and use the defibrillator located near the elevator if necessary. Fire extinguishers are located in the front and back of this room. Please be guided by the directions of the New Jersey Transit Police and staff. As a reminder, members of the public are not permitted to approach the dais and should only share board meeting materials with New Jersey Transit staff at the reception desk. Thank you and have a safe day.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I will now take roll call. Board Member Brown?
Here.
Board Member Doshi? Board Member Doshi?
Here.
Board Member Gordon?
Here.
Board Member Morocco?
Here.
Board Member Medina?
Here.
Board Member Nara?
Here.
Board Member Thomas?
Here.
Board Member Weiss?
Here.
Board Member Caniff?
Here.
Board Member Cruz?
Here.
Vice Chair Carson?
Here.
Board Member Perdoni?
Here.
For the record, Chair Gutierrez-Scacchetti is absent and Board Member Bertoni is the Chair's designee to vote in her absence. Board Members Bertoni, Doshi, Medina, and Weiss are participating remotely. This is a meeting of the New Jersey Transit Corporation and its affiliates and subsidiaries. Adequate notice has been provided in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act and NJ Transit's enabling legislation. Notice was filed on October 5th, 2023 with the Secretary of State and sent to newspapers of general distribution, posted in the main entrance of NJ Transit's headquarters, published on the corporation's website, and sent to each individual, agency, and organization that requested such notice.
May I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of the September 14th, 2023 board meeting?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Okay. Megan, can we please take the vote?
Roll call vote. Board Member Doshi? Board Member Doshi, roll call vote.
Yes.
Board Member Gordon?
Yes.
Board Member Morocco? Yes. Board Member Medina?
Yes.
Board Member Nara? Okay. Board Member Weiss?
Yes.
Board Member Caniff?
Yes.
Board Member Cruz?
Yes.
Vice Chair Carson?
Yes.
Board Member Bertoni?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay. President and CEO Corbett will present the President and CEO's monthly report.
Thank you, Vice Chair, and members of the board, and good evening to all members of the public joining us tonight in person or online. To begin, I must say I was proud to be on hand yesterday at the American Public Transportation Association's Transform Conference to accept the NJ Transit's 2023 Outstanding Public Transportation System Award from among the largest transit systems in North America. For those of you attending in person this evening, you may have seen the award on display at our front desk on your way into the boardroom. Again, I want to thank and praise every one of our nearly 12,000 employees whose hard work, commitment, dedication, over the last 6 years, including right through the pandemic, have made winning this prestigious award and such recognition possible. Moving on to NJ Transit's ridership update. Overall weekday rail ridership is at approximately 70% of pre-COVID levels, with midweek, Tuesday through Thursdays, at approximately 80% of pre-COVID levels, with many, and I think many of us who are riding feel most, peak hour trains, AM and PM, are at or above pre-COVID levels. Please report we achieved a significant milestone for weekend rail ridership, which is now fully returned to patterns typical of seasonal, discretionary, and off-peak commuter travels. And in fact, on most lines, total weekend ridership now exceeds pre-COVID levels. In addition to our regular rail ridership, we are seeing real significant ridership increases to and from MetLife Stadium for Giants and Jets home games, including more than 10,000 people each way for last week's Jets and Giants game. We can't ensure that the Jets and Giants fans will be happy about their teams, whether they're winners, but they certainly are winners riding on New Jersey Transit to get to and from. We really think that's part of the fan experience, and that's what we're hearing from the fans. Overall bus ridership system-wide is holding steady at approximately 85% of pre-COVID level, and bus ridership during the week of September 18th reached its highest level point since before the pandemic. Interstate bus ridership into New York is still at approximately 80% plus of pre-COVID levels, and intrastate bus ridership remains at approximately 90%, with many routes at or above pre-COVID levels during peak periods. Overall, light rail ridership has increased from approximately 80% of pre-COVID levels to approximately 85%. And if we look specifically at our 3 light rail systems, Riverline ridership is at 75% of pre-COVID. Newark Light Rail is at 80 to 85, and HBLR ridership is now essentially fully recovered from pre-COVID, increasing from approximately 90% of pre-COVID levels to now between 95 and 100%. Anecdotally, I have to say also coming in today, but looking at the parking lots, and riding the trains, talking with customers, really for all practical purposes, people feel like things are essentially back to pre-COVID levels. To a lot of people, the statistics now of pre-COVID versus what it is today, they feel we're back to normal, whatever the exact numbers are on the ridership. Going back to bus, I would say on service and planning, though, and the data I gave just about bus ridership does not include what I'm going to touch on now. On September 29th, as many of you already know, NJ Transit established an emergency bus stabilization service for former ANC and Coach USA 1 customers, following these companies' very disappointing decision to discontinue 7 of their bus routes. These routes are critical lifelines to thousands of North Jerseyans who depend on them to get to work, schools, doctor's appointments, and recreation. And after extensive analysis and planning, we announced an emergency stabilization plan that includes 6 new bus routes and extending 1 existing route, serving the same bus stops as the ANC and 1 bus line, and covering the same span of service. Please visit our website for more details. As we take on these additional bus routes abandoned by ANC and Coach, we continue to closely monitor and analyze customer feedback. Toward that end, we once again received some extremely positive results from our latest customer satisfaction survey conducted this past summer from June 5th through July 3rd, with approximately 29,000 respondents. More than 8 out of 10 customers, or 82%, said they would recommend NJ Transit to a friend or family member. This is the highest percentage since we began conducting surveys in 2011, and a 10% increase from the spring of 2019, when the willingness to recommend NJ Transit was at 72%. Full survey results are available online at njtransit.com/survey results. To help incentivize those who are not yet riding transit, NJ Transit has introduced its fall promotional campaign last month. From September 29th through October 31st. We are offering several discounts, including a buy one, get one free, a round-trip ticket between any origin and destination, and a 40% discount on a round trip to Philadelphia or Atlantic City. For more information, please visit njtransit.com/fall. Highlighting one item on the agenda this evening, the board will vote to once again advance our ambitious bus garage modernization program. through a contract for preliminary and final engineering design services that continue to pave the way for our ultimate transition to a fully zero-emission fleet, aligned with Governor Murphy's clean energy goals. Moving on to infrastructure, and speaking of the governor, I did have the honor of speaking alongside the governor and our board chair at NJ Alliance for Action's annual statewide transportation conference on September 20th. There, I was pleased to be able to highlight the record $6 billion worth of infrastructure projects we've advanced since 2018. A number of these projects are reaching milestones within the next 6 months. For example, we expect to advertise construction of our New Brunswick Platform Extension Project by end of this month. Next month, we'll open bids for the second construction contract for our Long Slip project, which includes 3 ADA accessible platforms to support 6 new tracks down at Hoboken and maintenance and fleet reliability facilities and other amenities. In January, we expect to advertise a second construction contract for our Red and River Bridge, which will complete the bridge, allowing us to decommission the existing bridge and eliminate one of the most vulnerable points on the North Jersey coastline. Our new Union City Bus Garage project, which will be our first fully electric bus facility, is advertised for preliminary and final design and expected to be awarded in the first quarter of 2024. And the Hudson Bergen Light Rail operation and maintenance rebid will be advertised for bidding later this year. We expect to award a contract for the conceptual and preliminary design for our Brielle Drawbridge by the end of the first quarter of 24. And this winter, our Elizabeth Station project, which will be entirely completed with the eastbound platforms and station building already open in service. The full project on the westbound platform and the station plaza, that'll be completed this winter, and we look forward to having a grand opening for that. Please visit our website for more information on these projects as well as all the other projects in our capital plan. In addition to all the projects we currently advancing, I would also point out we are planning to advance an unprecedented additional $8 billion in capital expenditures over the next 3 years, which is by far the largest investment in our system over any similar period of time in the 40-plus years of history of NJ Transit. And according to our Senior Vice President of Capital Projects, it is probably the largest capital program since the railroads were originally built. So making up for lost time. So again, you can check our website on the details for that. We also have good news to share this evening regarding our non-revenue corporate vehicle fleet. On October 4th, NJ Transit received a $1.4 million grant from the New Jersey Board of Public Utilities that we will use to expand our fleet of corporate electric vehicles and provide funding for the necessary charging infrastructure. The awarded funds, which support cleaner air and New Jersey's broader sustainability goals, are part of a $12.7 million in grant funding for fiscal year 2023 from 3 of the state's electrical vehicles and charging infrastructure incentive programs. Using these funds, NJ Transit will acquire additional battery electric vehicles, level 2 fleet chargers, and direct current fast charging equipment units, which offer rapid charging. We are currently installing our first ever fast charging equipment units, chargers at our Newton Avenue garage in Camden. And as these funds drive us forward, it is important to note, meanwhile, that we have already met and exceeded our goal to convert 25% of our corporate fleet to hybrid or all-electric vehicles by 2025. Moving on to technology, we have a significant technology update as well to cover today. Beginning today, NJ Transit is significantly enhancing the customer experience for bus and light rail customers by adding a new and convenient contactless fare payment option for adult one-way fares. This new option is made possible by the installation of onboard validators on all our approximately 2,200 buses and validators at every one of our 62 light rail stations. Bus customers simply have to tap their contactless cards, your credit card or debit card, on the onboard validators as they board and inform the operator of the number of zones they wish to travel. Light rail customers simply have to tap their cards at their station's validator. The functionality is not only more convenient for customers, but it will also significantly reduce transaction times, making border faster for our customers. Moving on to people, I would say, moving on to in some of the personnel updates, I'm pleased to announce that New Jersey Transit Police Department Captain Ryan Fraser has been appointed to the 2023-24 class of White House Fellows, following a highly competitive selection process. For the next year, Captain Fraser will work with top-ranking administration officials in our national capital, and I hope you all join me in wishing Captain Frazier continued success in the program until we get him back to NJTPD. I would also like to congratulate our Chief Information and Digital Officer, Lukman Fazal, and his team on NJ Transit's selection as a 2023 USCIO 100 Award winner. The USCIO Awards celebrate 100 organizations and the teams with them that are using IT in innovative ways to deliver business values, whether by creating competitive edge, optimizing business processes, enabling growth, or improving relationships with customers. I would also like to congratulate NJ Transit's Jeff Antman and Beata Laser on our creative services team for winning the NJ Ad Club's Best Vehicle Wrap Award on September 20th. These beautiful award-winning graphics are featured on our electric buses operating out of our Newton Avenue bus garage in Camden. And finally, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank and recognize every one of NJ Transit's railroad workers for all the work they do every day to serve our customers, as October 15th of each year has been designated as New Jersey Railroad Workers' Day. I'll wrap up today by highlighting a few special events that we've held over the last month. I must say many of us thoroughly enjoyed NJ Transit's 40th anniversary express ride on September 30th, which was a resounding success by many measures with a historic train. We had an amazing, enthusiastic turnout, not just on the train, but all along the route, with hundreds of people, let's say thousands, lining up along the route to witness the historic ride, take pictures and videos of the vintage cars and locomotives. And as far as employees, it was also great to see so many transit employees, including several of our board members. Rashonda was down at the other end for our Meadows Maintenance Complex in Kearney for NJ Transit's Family Day. It's an event filled with food, fun, railroad magic, all sorts of rides for family and friends, and it was a great occasion to really celebrate and get together, particularly this being our 40th anniversary. And we are looking forward to this Saturday when our Howell Garage will host NJ Transit's annual service bus rodeo and family day, and for more of the same, except with buses rather than locomotives and rail cars. So with that, Vice Chair, I conclude my remarks and turn the floor back to you.
Thank you, President Corbett. Are there any comments from the public?
Yes, there are 4 in-person speakers and 1 pre-registered telephone speaker. Speakers, in order to give everyone an opportunity to be heard, comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Priority access will be given to pre-registered in-person speakers, followed by any additional in-person speakers. We will then take comments from pre-registered telephone speakers, followed by any additional telephone participants who are queued to speak. Those participating by telephone, if you have not already done so, please press *1 on your telephone keypad to enter the queue to speak. You will hear a brief tone to indicate you have successfully entered the queue. The first speaker is David Peter Allen, followed by Elizabeth Endoy.
Good evening. I am David Peter Allen, Chair of ScatterTAC, the Senior Citizens and Disabled Residents Transportation Advisory Committee. This is my report to you on behalf of our committee. We begin by commending New Jersey Transit on its decision to assume operations on the former Coach USA bus routes 24, 31, and 44 in and near Essex County, as well as the A&C routes in Jersey City. Regarding Essex County, we note that there are some service cuts, but I live on the 31 route, and I know that a reliable operation by New Jersey Transit will still improve mobility for the riders on those lines, many of whom, including me and another of our members, Linda Washington, who is here with us tonight, depend on the transit we are offered. If we had lost those lines, the result would have been a tragic loss of mobility for the riders, with additional pressure on the county systems, which would constitute another challenge that they do not need. The system for presentations by county transportation directors is in full swing. This year, we are asking more questions and increasing our efforts to keep track of the suggestions that we give the counties. This is an important part of our statutory mandate, and we want to make sure that the county providers have the full benefit of our expertise. Our Access Link subcommittee met recently, and we heard complaints from our members and learned about other complaints. We have been concerned about this situation for some time, and we want to help in any way we can to bring needed improvements to Access Link and make that improved service a reality. We continue to invite senior Access Link managers to work with us toward achieving that goal which is vital for our riders with disabilities. If any member of this board or anyone else has a suggestion that can improve relations between Access Link and its riders, we would certainly like to hear those suggestions. We congratulate New Jersey Transit Rail on its 40th anniversary, which was celebrated over the past month, as Mr. Corbett mentioned. And our committee will commemorate its own 40th anniversary at our January meeting, currently scheduled for Monday, January 22nd. Our members are working with the managers at local program support to plan the event, and we especially invite members of this board and senior management to come by and commemorate this milepost with us. Our meetings are open to the public, so that invitation is not restricted to the people I just mentioned. We are here for all of our constituents. Finally, we had hoped that the proposed regulations concerning the ScatterTap grant program and our committee's purview would be on tonight's agenda. We know this program is important to New Jersey Transit, to the grant recipients, and since we reached an understanding with senior management last spring, to our committee. The comment period ended almost 2 months ago, so we express our hope that these regulations, with the planned reaffirmation of our historic purview, will be approved next month. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Elizabeth Ndoye, followed by Paula Rogovin.
Hello, my name is Elizabeth Ndoye. I am a resident of Hoboken and a member of Don't Gas the Meadowlands. I'm deeply concerned that NJ Transit has not removed the possibility of using frack gas from your RFP for the proposed Kearney Power Plant, stating that alternative energy may not be sufficient for the project. You have a renewed focus on a central facility rather than a distributed design, which is more useful in a solar-powered design. In fact, there is a lack of any information about siting locations for solar for this plant. You speak of building a gas plant that you will transition to alternative energy by 2050. Why build a natural gas plant if you already know it is not only environmentally dangerous, but it is on its way to being technologically obsolete way before 2050? We don't need transition, we need change now. This RFP speaks of selling energy that you create to Amtrak, which suggests that you will be running this plant for many more hours than are required in an emergency situation. This suggests that you will run the plant not only when the grid is down. By the time you build this plant, how can you be sure that anyone will want to buy energy from a plant fired by the use of dirty natural gas? Your future customers may only want energy produced by clean energy technology, and you will be stuck with an outdated and polluting problem, not a revenue-producing source of cheap energy. In short, you may be creating a huge future financial millstone for yourselves, not a solution to your resiliency problems. Natural gas is also becoming more expensive than solar and battery storage. You can use the funding you are receiving now to invest in a technology that will last and provide a cleaner future rather than building a plant that every day becomes less and less technologically viable. My other continuing concern in your RFP is the complete dismissal of the New Jersey Environmental Justice Law. You have not listed this law in your list of required permits. How can this be when the emissions from this proposed plant will add huge amounts of toxins to the already polluted air of the residents of environmental justice communities in Essex, Hudson, and Union counties? Your RFP must answer to the requirements of New Jersey's groundbreaking EJ law. Finally, you claim to be reviewing proposals submitted to this flawed RFP, but you have yet to meet the deadline on going public with your choice on who will be awarded the contract. We are deeply disappointed with your lack of transparency in this process. Your public needs to know if they're
Thank you, ma'am. Your time has expired. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Paula Rogovan, followed by Frederick Mendez.
Good evening. Do you ever feel like somebody's playing games with you? It certainly feels like New Jersey Transit is playing games. We've been working since 2019 to stop the New Jersey Transit gas plant you proposed for Kearney, an environmental justice community. After town resolutions, petitions, rallies, and marches, in 2020, Governor Murphy called on transit to pivot from a gas plant to a renewable energy alternative. And New Jersey Transit agreed to make that pivot. We kept an eye on transit through the bidding process, as much as you can watch a public agency with nearly zero transparency. As we suspected, transit didn't keep their promise. Now we've been waiting 6 months for transit to provide the names of the 2 bidders, and there is silence. Another broken promise. Do you expect the public to sit quietly and sit by and not get exasperated? The lack of honesty and transparency is infuriating. We have submitted Oprah requests over and over and over. So what's going on? Who are the 2 bid finalists? Will it be a gas plant? Will transit be dropping the microgrid project? Will transit try to transfer the money to another project? Are you waiting until perhaps after the November elections to tell us so there won't be any repercussions to the politicians? According to this article in today's NorthJersey.com, in May, Chairperson Diane Gutierrez-Cacchetti warned protesters, us, and the others who are either on the phone or not here tonight, to, quote, erase yourself of that thought, that the grant money could be transferred for some other New Jersey Transit youth. So you don't like the microgrid process, she continues. I understand that. Let's be clear, if we don't build one, that money doesn't go back to New Jersey Transit to spend on other things. It goes right back to Washington, D.C., end of quote. I would hope that New Jersey Transit or this Board of Commissioners would say instead, we're keeping our promise to pivot from the gas plant, and we will do everything possible to come up with a new proposal for microgrids, light rail, monorail, a new proposal to submit to the FDA to repurpose the money, something to improve public transportation, and at the same time use renewables and protect the health and lives of New Jerseyans. I wish you would have asked us protesters to help get the funds transferred to a new project. We wish that, but we didn't expect it. So what's going on? You know we have
Thank you.
For now, we will assume you're going to go ahead with the gas plant. Our children at stake, the health of residents in Newark, Jersey City, and other towns will be directly impacted by your gas plant. The climate will be impacted.
Thank you, Ms. Rogovan. Your time has expired. Thank you.
Harm humanity.
The next speaker is Frederick Mendez, followed by Doug O'Malley.
Good evening, everyone. I'm grateful to Food and Water Watch. It's their connectivity that informed me of this meeting. I've been here once before. And I believe that they speak for our grandchildren. You ever notice that the young and the helpless, they don't get much voice in this world, do they? I'm thinking of a great freight train. I thought that'd be a fitting metaphor. A great freight train. I saw one a mile long the other day. It was filled with iron ore. Can you imagine going at 30 miles an hour, the momentum and power that that train has? And I think that's the fossil fuel industry. The fossil fuel industry is a great freight train that probably frightens some of us, but I think for most of us, it just reassures us. Its power, its momentum, we find it almost intoxicating. I admit, I love fossil fuels. I drove in a 4-cylinder car here today. I have a little apartment with a gas-fired heater. I can't afford anything else. But people in leadership can make a real difference, you know. But that great freight train, fossil fuels have built virtually everything we see. Everything we can see with our eyes today. But their time has expired. If you're one of those who believe that the very, very few outliers in the climate science community who deny the fact that we've known for decades that the world is warming up and there's really disastrous consequences, but I don't believe those 1 or 2 outliers. I trust the vast, vast majority of climate scientists. So I just want to question, what's it going to take to turn this around? It's hard to trust in the new technology, right? It's not really that new, our green sources of energy. It's not really that expensive. Just like to share with you a brief story. Remember, former President Trump in his last days was ready to fire his attorney general, and a group of people, probably not much larger than this group to whom I'm speaking now, stood up and said no.
Thank you. The next speaker is Doug O'Malley, followed by the telephone speakers.
Good evening, Chair and members of the board. My name is Doug O'Malley. I serve as Director of Environment New Jersey. We represent more than 80,000 citizen members and activists across this great state. I wanted to start off by thanking the activists that have come to you month in and month out from Don't Gas the Meadowlands as well as Empower New Jersey, talking about the need for the board to re-examine the process on transit grid, and specifically the findings from the Strategy and Consulting Report. Some of the comments you've heard this evening already touch on the fact that there are massive concerns with the project that was designed to be resilient, a project that could deepen our climate crisis, but also to be thinking about a project ultimately that is resilient for the situation that NJT finds itself in right now. And that's why I wanted to come to the board tonight, because usually when we talk about the budget, we are in springtime, we're in baseball season in the spring as opposed to the playoffs. Sadly, none of our teams, the Yankees or Mets, are anywhere close to that right now. But we should be thinking about where we are in the budget, because we are not where we need to be. And we cannot get out of this funding hole, of the fiscal cliff, through, through efficiencies, through fare hikes, through service cuts. We certainly have a massive fiscal cliff ahead of us, and other states are taking action. Specifically, MTA in New York. Most recently, the Pennsylvania House passed a bill to dedicate a portion of their sales tax to SEPTA and statewide transit funding. That's the sort of leadership that we need here. We should not wait to the budget season to have this, and this message is obviously, the board only controls the budget so much, but the legislature and the administration control a lot more. And we need to ensure that we are not looking at a death spiral for transit. We need to make sure that we have dedicated, stable funding. The report that the New Jersey Policy Perspective just put out put a fine line on the historical funding that's provided by state aid. New Jersey Transit is 5% of its funding coming from state aid that is vastly less than other transit agencies. We've seen even earlier in the Murphy administration much more state aid, close to $500 million. We need to get back to that place. And I think this is a critical message to be delivering, especially today on the release by the Turnpike Authority of their draft environmental impact statement for the Newark Bay Bridge, which is going to come in at the grand cost of $6 billion, a project that is, we feel, not needed, that could, and the alternatives that are being skipped over, including rehabilitation, are not fully analyzed. But that's $6 billion that's going to drivers and not riders. That's $6 billion that could be going to fund transportation. And that's something that obviously this board doesn't control the decisions, but the legislature and the administration ultimately do.
Thank you. Operator, we would now like to open the floor to public comments for telephone participants, beginning with those who pre-registered to speak.
You will hear a brief tone to indicate you have successfully entered the queue. Each speaker will be given 3 minutes for their public comment. A warning will be provided with 1 minute remaining and again with 15 seconds remaining. There are currently 10 speakers in queue. Your first public comment is coming from Matthew Bucky's Highland. Matthew, your line is live and your time will begin now.
Thank you, Mr. Operator. Good evening to the committee, especially to Vice Chairwoman Carson and to President Corbett. I want to speak tonight about the possibility with the Metropolitan Transportation Authority and with the Southeastern Pennsylvania Transportation Authority on a possible combo ticket. For example, I live on Long Island in the Levittown area. I could take the train from Wantagh on the Long Island Railroad to Penn Station to Newark at your headquarters for only $32. But, you know, if I ever took the train from Seaford to maybe to Connecticut, I would only pay $18.50. So I would hopefully you'll be open to the idea of possibly having a combo ticket with those two authorities. And second, the fares have been the same since Christopher J. Christie was governor. Basically, those fares have not been raised since the Christie administration. Anyway, I hope you would consider it. I hope, because, in Newark, you could just come straight to a meeting from the train station for your transit. I would hope for you to have a discussion and a feedback, and I hope they have Commissioner's trust. Thank you. God bless you, and good night. Mr. Operator?
Thank you very much. And your next public comment is coming from Sally Jane Gellert. Sally Jane, your line is live, and your time will begin now.
I don't know what... Okay. Hi. Sally J. Gellert, chairperson of the Lackawanna Coalition. I want to congratulate New Jersey Transit Rail on its 40th anniversary. A few of us members joined families and rail fans out to get a glimpse of history on October 1st at Hoboken Terminal for the display of the historical rail cars. Beautiful day to be outside, sunny, reasonably cool. And those of us who grew up in old black and white movies set on trains, who hummed on the 20th century when that 40s-style musical was on Broadway, enjoyed peeking into the past, including the chance to go aboard a couple of the historic cars. They certainly brought to life local rail history and provided additional motivation for protecting and expanding current passenger rail. We were on the abandoned bus lines. We were pleased to see New Jersey Transit picking up Coach 1 and A and C routes, but want to point out that as activity has increased dramatically since the pandemic cuts, the goal should be restored to return to pre-pandemic schedules, including restoring full frequency on the 9 and 14 in Jersey City, and those routes, along with the ADS and the 8, running late into the evening. Although the current replacement route is not technically a cut, stores are no longer closing at 8 p.m. as they did 3 years ago. More folks are traveling at all hours, even more midday and weekends than at the traditional rush hours, so full service is necessary. I note the other day I was at the Essex train station, and all the daytime slots, I got one of the last two, but the permit slots were basically empty. There was nobody there that Friday, except for us occasional riders. Renaming the branches of the 24 with the southbound 24A, now the 24E for Elizabeth Avenue, and the southbound 24B, the 24J for Jersey Street, and northbound the 24S Scotland Road and 24H Harrison Street surely led to some confusion this week, which hopefully will resolve with time. To New Jersey Transit's credit, they increased the span of service on the 31, especially in the evening, to South Orange, even over when coach ran prior to the cuts in July. But the schedule is a difficult one to keep up with traffic, so unreliability continues, and we encourage management to look into improving that. On trains, members have reported that some trains with toilets only in closed-off rail cars, or worse, with non-working toilets or no toilets. We encourage you to consider this an important customer service issue and ensure that each train has one or more easily accessible working toilets. Infrequent riders may not even be aware that each train should have a restroom and may not think to ask for it. Transit weekend, I'm debuting October 21st and 22nd. The Lackawanna Coalition is participating in two important events that weekend related to rail travel and sustainability. First, the Rail Users Network, of which the Lackawanna Coalition is an organizational member, is hosting its fall mini-conference on Saturday, October 21st at 12:30 p.m. It is titled Passenger Rail and the Environment, Natural Allies, Environmental Benefits of Passenger Rail Transit in North America. It's a Zoom event free to members and available to new members with their introductory membership to run through 2024. David Peter Allen will be giving closing remarks at this conference, which includes a public forum. Next, Lackawanna Coalition Chairperson Emeritus David Peter Allen, Secretary Daniel Chazen, and I have been invited to hold a panel discussion on transit, the sustainable alternative, moderated by our Legislative Director Vito Havrilla, on Sunday, October 22nd at 11 a.m. at the Ethical Culture Society of Bergen County and Teaneck. It is also viewable on Zoom.
Thank you. And our next speaker is James Crawford. James, your line is live and your time will begin now.
Thanks. My name is James Crawford from Passaic County, New Jersey, and I'm just calling in to, it seems like we need more sort of transparency on the Kearney gas plant project status. It's the methane plant. And it seems that the competitive bidding process is not really truly competitive, like open to, for instance, renewable solutions. So we'd like to see something like that. But basically, New Jersey Transit is taking no proactive measures that we know of to ensure that developers design projects compatible with Governor Murphy's recent executive order to cut the greenhouse gas emissions by 2035, or the just adopted environmental justice law. And without intervention now, this project is essentially going to be a cliffing stranded asset. So unless those cash flows are being accounted for to be paid by the taxpayers, this forward-looking project may be uneconomic. That's my concern, because the ratepayers end up paying, or the taxpayers end up paying the cost on stranded assets. So our top demand is that we call on Governor Murphy and his New Jersey Transit to act on the findings of the Stratogen study, and maybe get an unbiased third party in there, which demonstrates a renewable energy-based hybrid microgrid solution is better for people's health, technically feasible, and much more cost-effective. So the RFP needs to be opened up to a true competitive bid situation, not just captive to the fossil fuel operators. I think my time's up. Thanks for listening.
Thank you. The next public comment is coming from Holly Cox. Holly, your line is live and your time will begin now.
Hi, I'm Holly Cox, a 25-year New Jersey resident. I'm here to ask Governor Murphy and NJ Transit why you're not revising your RFP and redesigning your microgrid project to be powered by renewable energy, which the Stratogen report shows is technologically feasible, more economical, and better for our health and climate. Why have you not responded to the new report, which shows that a combined system of solar battery storage and a backup gas turbine only to be used in true emergencies is a feasible alternative for meeting NJ Transit's operational needs during severe weather events? Why haven't you revised your RFP to specifically solicit bids for renewable energy hybrid microgrid solutions? Do you see the immorality and danger of adding more pollution from another fossil fuel plant to an overburdened community? Although Governor Murphy announced an accelerated target of 100% clean energy by 2035, neither he nor you has any plan to get there. If you build your fossil fuel plant, when will it be completed, and how long do you expect it to operate before you need to start transitioning to clean fuels to comply with Governor Murphy's targets? How much do you estimate it will cost to convert your gas plant to a clean plant? What is your response to the finding that a renewable energy system could realize hard profits ranging between $45 to $85 million from 2028 to 2050? What is your response to the finding that a fossil fuel project could face losses of $42 million and only up to $29 million in profits over the same period? What is your response to the finding that avoiding emissions from 2028 to 2050 by operating a renewable energy system instead of fossil fuels could save between $193 to $346 million in climate change impacts? What is your response to the finding that reducing pollutants from your plant could save another $8 to $14 million locally in health and morbidity impacts? Where is your evidence that a gas plant is financially, environmentally, technically, or socially superior to a renewable hybrid microgrid? Do you see the climate chaos unfolding all around us, stronger and more dangerous storms, damaging our property and killing our residents, an increasing number of extreme weather events, hottest days on record in all of history, wildfires already burning over 16,000 acres this year, according to the NJ Forest Fire Service, NJ sea level rise twice the national average? Our state and planet are literally either on fire or flooding all around us, and no one, including you who are in a position of power, is doing anything at the scale required to keep our planet habitable. Given the financial reality of a fossil fuel plant, extreme climate events that we see happening all around us with our own eyes, and the report's findings that a renewable plant is cleaner, safer, more resilient, and significantly more economical, how do you justify a fossil fuel plant in 2023? I call on Governor Murphy and NJ Transit to revise your RFP, stop abdicating your responsibilities, listen to the climate scientists around the world who all agree we only have about 6 years left to drastically reduce our emissions to keep our planet habitable. Make a plan to meet our state's climate and clean energy commitments and stop this disastrous fossil fuel proposal. Thank you.
Thank you. The next public comment is coming from Christian Nowell. Christian, your line is live, and your time will begin now.
Hello, good evening. My name is Chris Nowell with Doncaster Meadowlands. And, we haven't really heard much about the status of Transit Grid, so that's what I wanted to ask about. What's the status of Transit Grid? Is it still moving forward or not? And if it isn't, why isn't it? Is it the air permit, something to do with the air permit being denied? In the letter that John Reichman wrote and sent to almost everybody in the state in July, he said building a polluting gas plant is far worse economically and environmentally than building nothing at all. But, what's your contingency? What is the contingency if it's not going to be a gas plant? If, as an effect of the air permit possibly being denied, would you plan on reallocating this money toward renewables? It would be irresponsible not to have a contingency, and then it would be just a massive waste, opportunity squandered and inexcusable and shameful if this over $400 million is just left on the table and, just not being used to move New Jersey Transit into the future, Well, I'm just curious, why we never hear from any of you. I mean, we've heard from Bob Gordon maybe once or twice at meetings, but no comments, regarding all of our questions and statements from anyone else, really. And is it because you can't say anything, or you're afraid to say anything, or you just don't feel like it? It's just, we're left out here, kind of not knowing what's going on, and just hope to to hear from you about the status of this project. I mean, it's just kind of weird and feels kind of rude to not hear from anybody. Okay, well, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. The next public comment is coming from Adam Reich. Adam, your line is live and your time will begin now.
Good evening. First of all, I want to thank Board Member Nara for providing an update on the customer advocate at the last Operations and Customer Service Committee meeting. I understand we're supposed to get a more comprehensive update to members of the public who may not remember. This is something mandated by the legislature. It's a legal requirement that we have a customer advocate. It's not something that the board can override or ignore. Second, on the Northeast Corridor line, there have been a number of stations that have had staircases closed for 6 months or more. Metro Park on the westbound platform experiences a significant bottleneck because of this. Rawway and New Brunswick are stations that have had staircases closed for longer periods. There are also platform sections closed at North Elizabeth and outages at Hamilton. Since these facilities went out of service, there's been no update from New Jersey Transit. Board members, can you at least ensure that at the next Operations and Customer Service Committee meeting, staff update the public on what's taking so long and when we can expect these facilities to be reopened? Third, please have staff provide a comprehensive update on the status of New Jersey Transit rail fleet. In recent days, a lot of riders are reporting shorter trains. I've noticed a couple trains running with locomotives instead of cab cars, or using single levels instead of multi-levels. There was a noticeable drop in mean distance between failure reported between the first and second quarters. Please shed light on what's going on.
Additionally,
while it was great to see New Jersey Transit celebrate its 40th anniversary with an excursion, I was deeply disappointed that I could not participate in it because its partner, the United Railroad Historical Society, ignored my request for disability accommodation until the night before the excursion. I do want to thank Mr. Corbett for having a staff member reach out to me to try and resolve this issue, although we couldn't fully resolve it in time. But I would stress that even more troubling is the fact that URHS has refused to address discriminatory behavior by its volunteers. Namely, at the last board meeting, I requested assistance with an ADA accommodation because Mr. Fallon did not respond to my request. That comment was posted on social media with a number of prominent URHS members mocking it. Mr. Fallon refused to acknowledge the issue and to make any kind of commitment to at least reminding his members not to make discriminatory comments like that. I would ask New Jersey Transit to insist that if it's going to partner with an organization like this, that A, it respond to disability accommodation requests on a timely basis, and B, hold its members to standards like not making discriminatory or harassing comments about an ADA accommodation. These are wonderful events. They should continue, but they could be made inclusive with simple statements. I would love the opportunity to talk with management or at least ScatterTAC on simple ways, simple changes that can be done in the future so that somebody who's in a high-risk category or immunocompromised could at least meaningfully participate in parts of an event, even if the idea of riding an excursion may not be accessible to them. It's important that when you think about accessibility, you think beyond mobility issues. We have high-risk people, we have immunocompromised people doing things like making a partial ticket available for outdoor events, and importantly, on the day-to-day, on board, opening every available car is critical. Please ensure that as we approach cold and flu season, you consider the idea of at least opening every available car to reduce density on board.
Thank you. The next public comment is coming from Rachel Davis. Rachel, your line is live and your time will begin now.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Rachel, we can hear your line.
Okay.
You may begin.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, New Jersey Transit Board. Congratulations on the 40th anniversary. Thank you to all other speakers. I'm Rachel Dawn Davis, and I'm speaking on behalf of Water Spirit, a spiritual ecology center sponsored by the Sisters of St. Joseph of Peace and our thousands of members throughout the state, Northeast region, and planet. Thanks for the opportunity to speak. We echo support for the previous ADA compliance request. Laws are only as good as they are being implemented. We have been peacefully speaking to this board for years now, advocating for a 100% renewable energy alternative to the New Jersey Transit Grid project, and educated you as to the effects of the still included toxic dirty methane gas plant, given my personal expertise on the subject for over 12 years. Dirty gas infrastructure uses copious amounts of fresh water, as I've shared many times before. We do not have water to waste, and we really never did. Water tables that should last 10,000 years are now contaminated due to hydraulic fracturing and the extractive process of getting this methane gas, or a couple of decades from being tapped. Public transportation has a vital role to play in the transition to an equitable renewable energy economy, which is happening now. Ensuring the focus of risks in inaction regarding climate emergency remains prevalent. So per this Stratogen study that has, during this time, been published and communicated to the New Jersey Transit Board, Governor's Office, and New Jersey Transit's Sustainability Policy Committee, which has one-way meetings and still has yet to respond to this study, there are many clear economic, moral, and social risks, and one we are adding, so I'll share those. But I do see that committee is focusing on a solar update, education, outreach, and development, Tier 4 locomotives, and a sustainability plan, but really has yet to address this or very expressed concerns in these public forums. So risks that bear repeating: the risk of needing to transition to a 100% clean energy solution by 2035, or becoming a non-operating stranded asset, as has been echoed throughout this meeting. Risk of an inability to obtain funding to achieve this transition, in part due to the greatly reduced need for the project based on PSE&G's grid hardening program. Risk of high cost, unproven technology needed to achieve this transition. Risk of unavailability of gas and fuel during emergencies. Risk of not receiving NJDEP air quality permit approval. Risk of noncompliance with federal and NJ environmental justice laws. Again, still have yet to be implemented. Risk of being perceived as out of step with transportation industry leaders' visions on the future of train power. I'm adding risk to our young people in this state and far beyond, especially those who are of poor and low wealth, as fossil fuel entanglements must be prevented if New Jersey state agencies are to seriously vie for any accountability from the fossil fuel industry and experience any livable future. New Jersey Transit Board, why not embrace environmental justice fully? Why not lead as a New Jersey state agency and become a best practice for the planet? What would it be like if you told the young people in your life, I helped this project become 100% renewable energy and created clean jobs? How would it feel? Would you be proud to share you sat idly by while another toxic project took hold in an already overburdened area of New Jersey residents? We urge you to tap into your morals, keep the public involved in the process, and definitively abandon the dirty gas power plant. Think of all children. Be leaders of environmental justice in this state, not just in comparison to other states. Thank you.
Thank you. The next public comment is coming from Sam DeFalco. Sam, your line is live and your time will begin now.
Hello, good evening. My name is Sam DeFalco, and I am an organizer with Food and Water Watch. And we represent 70,000 members and supporters across New Jersey who are staunchly opposed to any plan for the New Jersey Transit Grid project that involves building a new gas plant in New Jersey. Between now and when this meeting started, there was some breaking news in the climate and environmental justice world of New Jersey, in that Competitive Power Ventures, which is a corporation that operates a gas plant in Woodbridge, is no longer seeking approval to build a second gas plant in Woodbridge. And this, they're claiming that this is due to market conditions. I'm sure it also has a lot to do with the activists who have been fighting for a stop to this plant for several years. And just like we've been fighting New Jersey Transit and have had a number of elected officials and municipalities come out against this project, the same is true in Woodbridge. So I just wanted to highlight that because I think it shows the growing unpopularity of gas plants. Just last month, 75,000 people marched in New York City for an end to fossil fuels. And, regardless of whether it was market conditions, whether it was, activists in opposition, or whether it was no longer being able to, live up to what Competitive Power Ventures, I think, wants to be seen as a green company, we know that these projects are no longer popular. And I think this should serve as a reminder to New Jersey Transit that people are ready to support renewable solutions, and we want to see a renewable solution for New Jersey Transit. We want this huge federal grant to go to a solution that's not going to become a stranded asset. We want it to go to something that we know that the market conditions will, make this a economical and resilient and long-term solution for New Jersey because, we do need public transit resiliency, but we don't need a new gas plant. And, it's been a while since New Jersey Transit has updated the public about this project. We know that you've been, saying that this, because of the procurement process, you can't be public about it. But, it's been months without an update. We expected to hear the status of the bidders on this project back in, I think, May, and then it's been silent. And so really urge you to, be public about what's happening with this project. The status of it, and do what you can to make sure that we get the renewable transit solution that we need. Thank you.
Thank you. The next public comment is coming from Matt Smith. Matt, your line is live and your time will begin now.
Good evening. My name is Matt Smith. I am the New Jersey Director for Food and Water Watch, commenting for our more than 70,000 members across the state, and really echoing previous comments about our great concern that New Jersey Transit is now more than 5 months behind schedule in announcing the final bidders for what's supposed to be a re-envisioned microgrid project to maximize clean renewable energy. And, I don't have too much more to say. I think the speakers before me have reiterated all of the reasons why New Jersey Transit needs to increase its transparency around this project, why New Jersey Transit really erred when they originally made the pivot, despite all of our calls from the public years ago when Governor Murphy ordered New Jersey Transit to re-envision the project to maximize renewable energy. New Jersey Transit insisted in keeping nearly every single project specification in the RFP identical, right? That's not re-envisioning. That was slapping some lipstick on a pig. And if this delay is actually an indicator of New Jersey Transit's struggles to find competitive bids on a renewable energy project, then I believe it's in part due to Transit's failure to work together with the public who called for that re-envisioning, and all of the resources that we could bring to bear to help New Jersey Transit advocate for reallocating of funds or make modifications to the project specs to make it more competitive for bidders to design a renewable-based solution to meet some or part of New Jersey Transit's needs.
1 minute.
So I hope that New Jersey Transit will not give up on this project. I hope that they will exhaust every method possible to invest those funds in clean renewable energy to uphold Governor Murphy and New Jersey Transit's commitments that were made to the public. And immediately, most pressingly, we need transparency as to why there's a 5-month delay, why New Jersey Transit has, without reason, rejected all of our public records requests around this project. What are you hiding? When are we finally going to be able to get to work together to deliver the project that we need for our air, for our health, environment, and climate future? Thank you.
Thank you. The next public comment is coming from Charlton D'Souza. Charlton, your line is live and your time will begin now.
Good evening. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, your line is clear. Please proceed.
Okay. So good evening. My name is Charlton D'Souza. I'm the president of Passengers United here in New York. And I cannot tell you how many complaints we've gotten about the River Line. With trains breaking down, trains being canceled, The River Line is really, so important, and it provides a vital service between Trenton and Camden. And when 2 trains are canceled, or when the last train is canceled, it leaves people stranded. And if you're stranded in Trenton, especially in the evening, your only other option is to take SEPTA, and you have to pay $9.25. So you guys really have an obligation to get that right. And what I wanted to know is, what is New Jersey Transit doing to hold the vendor accountable? Have they gotten a commitment that if a train breaks down, that they'll be able to put out another train right away? And, what steps and measures are being taken? But I've also noticed on the River Line, you have people sleeping on the trains. You have people drinking. There's drug use going on. So, New Jersey Transit Police, they need to patrol those light rail trains because it is kind of filthy, and, they need to keep an eye on that. But with South Jersey as a whole, with the Atlantic City Rail Line and trains being canceled on the Atlantic City Rail Line, that's not fair to people, especially the hospitality workers who work at the casinos. I've been on many trains that have been delayed or canceled, and I know, waiting 2 hours is horrible for the next train. So you guys need to better coordinate the Atlantic City Rail Line schedules with the River Line, at Pennsauken, so that people can make better connections. But if the River Line does go down for any reason, there should be announcements made, and the tickets should be cross-honored on the bus system or even SEPTA, so that people can get around, because it's not fair, to be left stranded. And what's going on with the Atlantic City Rail Line as a whole, but also NJ Transit's whole budget right now. If you look at the MTA, one thing they've been able to do is balance their budget, even SEPTA. So NJ Transit, I'm worried what's going to happen in another year. And so you guys are spending all these billions and billions on the turnpike. Maybe some of that money needs to go to improve NJ Transit and have, better busing options and better contingencies in place. Because even with the Northeast Corridor, a lot of trains are canceled. There's days when the bridge stalls out. So I don't know why y'all can't even have cross-honoring with Amtrak, especially with the $10 promotion that Amtrak has now overnight. Maybe something can be worked out where NJ Transit customers, if a train is canceled, can board Amtrak, and even if they have to stand up, at least they're on a train moving. These cancellations are not good. So Kevin Corbett, we would love to meet with you at some point. We have a lot of concerns that we need to address. And I really hope that the River Line is finally going to work. Because yesterday, about 4 trains were canceled because of mechanical problems. This was even as you guys announced that the River Line was back to a regular schedule. So,
Thank you. The next public comment is coming from Vito Havrilla. Vito, your line is live. Will begin now.
Hello, my name is Vito Havrilla. I live in Bloomfield, and I will be speaking in a personal capacity. According to NJT Alerts, today 11 trains were delayed due to the opening of the Amtrak Portal Bridge for marine traffic. I assume that there will be residual delays. Why was Portal Bridge open during rush hour? Why did NJT not alert riders that there will be delays earlier? Thank you.
Thank you. And there are no further public comments from the audience at this time.
Thank you. We have one more in-person speaker, Linda Washington.
Good afternoon. My name is Linda Washington. I am a member of the New Jersey Transit Advisory Council, where the great David Allen is my chair. I am also the president of Crescent Elderly Newark Housing Authority and a Newark Housing Commissioner. On the line of the 24, I would like to thank Transit for taking over, the 24 and 31 and 44 lines on Phil and Heisman Avenue as our president for the last 21 years. We have disabled and seniors in wheelchairs, on walkers, with canes. And we need desperately to have transportation for these seniors who can't get around. And there was a gentleman named Mr. Yusuf Rodriguez at my site, and he's the one who started the petition along with our South Ward Councilman, Patrick Council, and other elected officials, to start this. And I am so thankful and grateful for our seniors, our disabled, inside the senior buildings down on Phil and Heisman Avenue. There are approximately 1,000 seniors down there. I have, about 350 of them. And I would just like to thank Transit. I would, like to thank, my chair for, bringing it up. I yield.
Thank you. Are there any board member comments? Board Member Gordon?
Thank you very much. And as always, I thank everyone who, from the public who spoke tonight. I'd just like to make an observation based on something I saw in the press since our last meeting. There was as I'm sure many of you read, there was a report about conditions in the state's veterans nursing homes and what happened during COVID. And the reports made some recommendations on how to improve the situation. And I thought it was significant that one of the recommendations offered was to create a veterans advocate to be organized in a fashion similar to that which we proposed in the legislation. And I just throw that out there, that this is an idea that is apparently is seen as something that would be helpful in another context. And I would just suggest that we, not give up on our on the concept here and try to move that forward. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any additional? Board Member Nara?
I just wanted to say, in relation to the customer advocate, I'm just going to say I overpromised. I'm going to say that I'm not prepared to give a report about where it is things are progressing, and other than that, I'm not prepared to give any details. So I apologize if anyone was expecting something more comprehensive tonight.
Thank you. Any additional board member comments? Okay.
Suzanne Mack will present the advisory committee report.
Yes, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. I know when we speak into a phone, sometimes it's complicated. I was watching also online, and there's a delay on there. So thank you for indulging me. Just let me know that I am on. I really appreciate it. I was sorry I couldn't be there here in person. I was juggling two meetings, one at work this evening, but I am very pleased. As you know, last month, my counterpart, Anna Marie Ganella Rosado, who lives down in Cape May, so she cannot make the meetings in person very often, gave our report, which was on our last meeting, which was on September 14th. Our next meeting will be October 20th, 2023, and I will be happy, hopefully, to deliver that report in person. I just wanted to. I'm so pleased and that I give my comments at the end of the public portion of the meeting, because there are so many wonderful suggestions that come up. And I've mentioned this before, both Anna Marie and myself, we have joint meetings every other month, and we do go through, we take notes on everything that goes on from the public. And so there are a number of issues tonight on ADA, on the combo ticket, on senior citizens issues, and different things which are so helpful to us, because then we can we could talk about them, delve into them a little further, and and advocate for some solutions by talking to senior staff. So it really is so helpful. And I know Board Member Navarro and Gordon constantly say how grateful they are that the public comes out to these meetings, and I wanted to reiterate that. I know there are some heftier issues that are more policy related to different things, and I do know, I've watched this for many years, and I know the board isn't allowed to maybe give a give and take at the meeting, but I do know that you go back into committees and you actually work on these issues because I've seen the outcome of that. So I just wanted to thank everyone that came out and also the board for their issues. In terms of congratulating New Jersey Transit on their 40th year anniversary of rail, that is also a really big highlight. I know our President Corbett was there, as were many of us in Hoboken in the past couple of weeks. But I also want to congratulate David Peter Allen on ScatterTac. 40 years of devotion to the senior citizens and disabled residents in New Jersey has just been, everybody who's worked on those committees has worked so hard. And they work with our committee on the ADA issues, which we're very concerned about with Access Link. And so to hear that Access Link comments are being considered, and also the comments made by Adam Reich this evening, I was particularly interested in, because we will definitely discuss what happened at that, because we want to assure that ADA is always at the paramount of our discussions. Aside from that, I mean, there's just been a lot of good things that have happened. We've all gone through COVID, and it's been a tough couple of years, but transit continues to provide services. The solutions in Newark and Hudson County, I am from Hudson County, and the solutions for trying to restore services that the private carriers could not continue is just to be commended, because the people in my communities and the people in the Essex community are so grateful, because they are the transit-dependent people. I mean, I'm out on the buses, I'm out on the light rail. I mean, these are people who have no other options, and New Jersey Transit continues. But you have finance issues now too. So coming up with solutions can't happen overnight. But I just want to congratulate everybody and just say it's wonderful to be part of a team that actually works so hard. And that would conclude my report, Vice Chair.
Thank you. Board Member Cruz will present the Operations and Customer Service Committee report.
The Operations and Customer Service Committee received an update on trends, analysis, and actions for rail, bus, light rail, and Access Link. The committee also received an update on the cost of service and an update on customer satisfaction survey results for spring 2023. That concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Board Member Marocco will present the Administration Committee report.
Thank you. The Administration Committee received a financial update, which included a summary of operating results compared to previous year's comparable period and fiscal year 24 budget, 12-month farebox revenue compared to pre-COVID, major balance sheet items, and federal COVID-19 relief grant drawdown summary. Additional information was provided as part of the agenda materials, including the cost of service key performance indicators, 12-month farebox recovery, history of vacancies, attrition, and hires, ridership and revenue, and a monthly budget to actual comparison for August 2023. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Board Member Weiss will present the Capital Planning, Policy, and Privatization Committee report.
The Capital Planning, Policy, and Privatization Committee discussed the board items for the New Jersey Transit Resilience Program, Delco Lead Storage and Inspection Facility, and County Yard Improvements Project, contract amendments, construction management and construction assistance services to support the GC2 project, additional preliminary and final engineering services for the bus modernization program, New Jersey Transit resolution authorizing entering into an agreement for the construction of the Hudson Tunnel Project, Package 3, surface alignment between NJ Transit and the Gateway Development Commission, information technology $0 change order to contract 18-013 for extension of time for completion of fare modernization improvements, and information technology award of 5-year contract for the improvement, maintenance, and support of customer ticketing, fare payment, and collection systems and networks to Convent Transportation Solutions Incorporated. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Board Member Nara will present the Safety Committee report.
Thank you, Vice Chair. The Safety Committee was provided an update by the Office of System Safety on key safety performance metrics for rail, light rail, bus, access link, and construction safety. The Safety Committee was also made aware that in August of 2023, the Safety Education Program was merged under the umbrella of the newly created Safety Training and Development Division. In Q1 and Q2 of 2023, the Safety Education Program facilitated 92 presentations to 110 schools in the northern and southern reaches of New Jersey. Chief Trusillo also updated the committee on the department's outreach efforts for the month of September, as well as Narcan deployments. In addition, the chief gave a crime update and discussed the progress of the Attorney General's Arrive Together program in Newark Penn Station. That concludes my report.
Thank you. President and CEO Corbett will present the action items.
For the record, Board Member Medina is recused from the next item and will not comment or vote on the item.
Thank you, Megan. I'd now like to introduce Rich Schaefer, Senior Vice President, Capital Programs, to present Board Item 2310-70 regarding resiliency Delco lead storage. Rich.
Thank you, CEO Corbett. We are presenting for approval Item 2310-70, NJ Transit Resilience Program, Delco Lead Storage and Inspection Facility and County Yard Improvements Project. Contract amendments, construction management, and construction assistance services to support GC2 project. Authorization is requested to amend the contract with joint venture team of Urban Tishman of Cherry Hill, New Jersey, in the amount of $33 million, plus 5% for contingencies to provide construction management services to support GC2 Delco Lead County Yard project, subject to the availability of funds. This authorization will bring total construction management contract authorization to $35,108,080. Authorization is also requested to amend the contract with Jacobs Engineering Incorporated of Morristown, New Jersey, in the amount of $11 million, plus 5% for contingencies, to provide construction assistance services to support GC2 Delco Lead County Yard project, subject to the availability of funds. This authorization will bring design contract authorization to $44,783,933.18. We ask for your approval of Item 2310-70.
May I have a motion to approve Board Item 2310-70?
Motion, Nara.
May I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, Megan, can we take roll, please?
Roll call vote. Board Member Doshi?
Yes.
Board Member Gordon?
Yes.
Board Member Morocco?
Yes.
Board Member Nara?
Yes.
Board Member Weiss?
Yes.
Board Member Caniff? Board Member Cruz?
Yes.
Vice Chair Carson?
Yes.
Board Member Bertoni?
Yes.
Motion carried. For the record, Board Member Medina is recused from the next item and will not comment or vote on the item.
Thank you. I'd now ask Rich to continue with 2310-71 regarding the bus garage modernization program.
Thank you, CEO Corbett. We are presenting for approval Item 2310-71, additional preliminary and final engineering services for the bus garage modernization program. Authorization is requested to amend a contract with AECom of Piscataway, New Jersey for the additional preliminary and final engineering services for the bus garage modernization program project. Authorization is also requested to engage AECom under the contract for Phase 1A services to provide additional design services to the Hilton Garage early construction preliminary and final design and additional survey as-built drawings for Westwood and Ironbound 2 garages in the amount not to exceed $2,726,242.04, plus 5% contingencies subject to the availability of funds. We ask for your approval of Item 2310-71.
May I have a motion to approve Board Item 2310-71? May I have a second?
Second, Nara.
Any discussion? Okay, hearing none. Megan, can you take roll call, please?
Roll call vote. Board Member Doshi?
Yes.
Board Member Gordon?
Yes.
Board Member Morocco?
Yes.
Board Member Nara?
Yes.
Board Member Weiss?
Yes.
Board Member Caniff?
Yes.
Board Member Cruz?
Yes.
Vice Chair Carson?
Yes.
Board Member Bertoni?
Yes.
Motion carried. For the record, Vice Chair Carson is recused from the next item and will not comment or vote on the item.
Thank you. I'd now like Rich to continue with his last item for tonight, Board Item 2310-72, regarding the Hudson Tunnel Package 3.
Thank you, CEO Corbett. We are presenting for approval item 2310-72, NJ Transit Resolution authorizing entering into an agreement for the construction of the Hudson Tunnel Project Package 3 surface alignment between New Jersey Transit and the Gateway Development Commission. Authorization is requested to enter into an agreement for the delivery of the Hudson Tunnel Project Package 3 surface alignment project between New Jersey Transit and the Gateway Development Corporation Commission. We ask for your approval of item 2310-72.
A motion to approve Board Item 231072. May I have a second? Thank you. Any discussion? No discussion. Board Secretary, please take a roll call vote.
Roll call vote, Board Member Doshi?
Yes.
Board Member Gordon?
Yes.
Board Member Morocco?
Yes.
Board Member Medina?
Yes.
Board Member Nara?
Yes.
Board Member Weiss?
Yes.
Board Member Keenan?
Yes.
Board Member Cruz?
Yes.
Board Member Bertoni?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you, and thank you, Board Member Caniff, for pitching in there. I'd now like to introduce Benu Thomas, Senior Vice President and Chief Administration Officer, to present Board Item 2310-73 regarding a conduit contract extension.
Thank you, CEO Corbett. Good evening. We are presenting for approval item 2310-73, Information Technology $0 change order to conduit contract 18-013 for extension of time for completion of fare modernization improvements. Authorization is requested to amend the contract with Conduit Transport Solutions, Inc. at a cost of $0 to allow Conduit to complete the fare modernization improvements by December 31st, 2025. We ask for your approval of this item, number 2310-73.
May I have a motion to approve Board Item 2310-73?
Motion, Nara?
May I have a second? Any discussion? Hearing none. Megan, please take roll.
Roll call vote, Board Member Doshi?
Yes.
Board Member Gordon?
Yes.
Board Member Morocco?
Yes.
Board Member Medina?
Yes.
Board Member Nara?
Yes.
Board Member Weiss?
Yes.
Board Member Keenan? Board Member Cruz?
Yes.
Vice Chair Carson?
Yes.
Board Member Bertoni?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. I'd now ask Benu to carry on with the related item 2310-74.
Thank you. We are presenting for approval item number 2310-74, Information Technology, award of 5-year contract for the improvement, maintenance, and support of customer ticketing, fare payment, and collective systems and networks to Conduit Transport Solutions, Inc. Authorization is requested to award a contract for the period of January 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2028 to Conduit Transport Solutions, Inc. of Somerset, New Jersey, at a cost not to exceed $115,765,707 plus 5% of contingencies subject to availability of funds. We ask for your approval of item number 2310-74.
May I have a motion to approve Board Item 2310-74?
Motion, Morocco.
May I have a second?
Second, Gordon.
Any discussion? Hearing none. Megan, please take roll.
Roll call vote, Board Member Doshi?
Yes.
Sorry. Board Member Gordon?
Yes.
Board Member Morocco?
Yes.
Board Member Medina?
Yes.
Board Member Nara?
Yes.
Board Member Weiss?
Yes.
Board Member Cruz?
Yes.
Board Member Keenan?
Yes.
Vice Chair Carson?
Yes.
Board Member Bertoni?
Yes.
Motion carried. For the record, Board Members Brown and Thomas are recused from the next item and will not comment on the item.
Thank you. I'd now like to introduce Jackie Stanford, Acting Senior Vice President, Chief Financial Officer, and Treasurer, present Board Item 2310-75 regarding personal injury claim. Jackie?
Thank you, Kevin. We are presenting for approval item number 2310-75, personal injury claim of the estate of Raphael Carfey. Authorization is requested to settle the claim of the estate of Raphael Carfey through the estate's attorney at an amount discussed in executive session. The Attorney General has approved the proposed settlement, subject to the availability of funds. We ask for your approval of item number 2310-75.
May I have a motion to approve Board Item 2310-75?
Motion.
Second, Baroka.
Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, Megan, please take roll.
Roll call vote, Board Member Doshi?
Yes.
Board Member Gordon?
Yes.
Board Member Morocco?
Yes.
Board Member Medina?
Yes.
Board Member Nara?
Yes.
Board Member Weiss?
Yes.
Board Member Kana?
Yes.
Board Member Cruz?
Yes.
Vice Chair Carson?
Yes.
Board Member Bertoni?
Yes.
Motion carried. For the record, Board Members Brown and Thomas are recused from the next item and will not comment on the item.
All right, thank you. For the last action item for tonight, I'd like to introduce Chris Trusillo, Senior Vice President, Chief of Police, and Office of Emergency Management, present Board Item 2310-76 regarding a labor agreement with the CWA.
Thank you, Mr. President. We are presenting for approval item number 2310-76, a proposed labor agreement, Communication Workers of America, local number 1032. Authorization is requested to enter into contract with the Communication Workers of America, local number 1032, for the term of July 1st, 2023 until June 30th, 2027, subject to the availability of funds, approve the economic terms, and other proposed conditions contained in the collective bargaining agreement, and take all necessary steps to finalize and implement same. We ask for your approval of item number 2310-76.
May I have a motion to approve Board Item 2310-76? May I have a, thank you. Any discussion? No, hearing none. Megan, please take roll.
Roll call vote, Board Member Doshi?
Yes.
Board Member Gordon?
Yes.
Board Member Morocco?
Yes.
Board Member Medina?
Yes.
Board Member Nara?
Yes.
Board Member Weiss?
Yes.
Board Member Cruz?
Yes.
Board Member Kana?
Yes.
Vice Chair Carson?
Yes.
Board Member Bertoni?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Before we adjourn to executive session, I want to let the public know we will return to adjourn the meeting, but no further business will be conducted. May I have a motion to enter into executive session to discuss personnel matters, contract negotiations, the status of pending and anticipated litigation, and matters falling within the attorney-client privilege, including, but not limited to, the personal injury claim of Michael Carl, the personal injury claim of Sarah Ramirez, the personal injury claim of Ingrid Nieves, and the personal injury claim of the estate of Shaham Habib. May I have a motion to enter into executive session?
Move,
May I have a second?
Second, Board.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Okay, hearing none. Megan?
Roll call vote, Board Member Doshi?
Yes.
Board Member Gordon?
Yes.
Board Member Morocco?
Yes.
Board Member Medina?
Yes.
Board Member Nara?
Yes.
Board Member Weiss?
Yes.
Board Member Kana?
Yes.
Board Member Cruz?
Yes.
Vice Chair Carson?
Yes.
Board Member Bertoni?
Yes.
Motion carried.
I hereby reconvene the open session board meetings. Megan, please take roll call.
Roll call. Board Member Doshi?
Here.
Board Member Gordon?
Here.
Board Member Morocco?
Here.
Board Member Medina?
Here.
Board Member Nara?
Here.
Board Member Weiss?
Here.
Board Member Caniff?
Here.
Board Member Cruz?
Here.
Vice Chair Carson?
Here.
Board Member Bertoni?
Yeah, here.
Okay. Since there is no further business, may I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion, Nara.
May I have a second? Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Motion carried. Meeting is adjourned.